Here's an idea. Don't put your face on your resume. Yeah, I mean, I go through a lot of resumes. I probably get 3 applicants a day looking for work. And whether they're good or not is another story. There's just I just get lots of applicants. Like any firm, you just get a bunch of people looking for a job. And one thing I see a lot of, I don't know who taught this to anyone or whatever, is people put photos of themselves in their CVs or resumes. I don't know who started that. To me, that's actually, I don't care to see your ugly faces. I'm just kidding. But I don't care to see what you look like. What matters to me is, how have you presented yourself in that CV? How is it laid out? What did you put chronologically? What's the most relevant thing? What did you put? That old stuff talks about editing and a thoughtfulness to design, clear information, clear understanding, clear thinking in a document. And that's what we do as architects, is we generate documents that are meant to be as clear as we can, concise and edited for construction. And so that's one of the big things is I see photos, and usually they're not great photos. They're like either a cell phone photo or a friend took a photo or whatever it is. It's not a professional photo by any standard. So it's like, what are you trying to say? I don't care if you are the ugliest sad sack on the planet. If you are wonderful at design and careful and thoughtful and all that stuff, who cares what you look like? What matters to me is the work. So, if anything, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot by, putting a photograph of yourself in your CV. And in fact, I think most of the people that I've hired didn't have a photo in their CV. It's the thing, when I see it on CV, I automatically subtract points in my mind because it's not necessary. It's the way you look shouldn't have a bearing on your merit, on the hiring or the potential hiring. It should be purely by merit, to be frank. So a bit of the way the process goes is if you have a rock solid CV, a good CV or a good resume, whatever you want to call it, I will most likely, as a hiring manager, or as principal architect, hiring manager, I will look you up. I will look on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I'll take a look at what kind of person you project yourself to be online. What's your online presence? And if there's no online presence, that freaks me out a little bit. It's like, is this a psychopath? Or maybe you're just very, very private. But it's like, I want to know what you want to project into the world, because as an architect, that's our whole job, is projecting something into the world. That's what we do, is we design stuff to be released into the world for everyone's judgment. Social media is a bit of a version of that light. You can curate a life for yourself online that's completely different than reality. Most of the time it's completely devoid of reality, but it's the best version of what you think you want to be is what the social media version of you is. So I mean, I look for that. I always what, and what do you do? I'm checking out what potential candidates, who they are, before even looking at the next step of assessments and interviews. And some people have very interesting online presence. Some people draw, and so they have drawings on their Instagram or their Facebook, or this is their hobby. They love doing this. That gives me a sense of who you are. Some people love sports. Some people I just want to get a snippet of what you might be before I actually meet you, if I'm interested. And that interest should spawn from, your portfolio, your CV, the initial kind of application. So I mean, that's a little bit of what goes on. But speaking of these things, I mean, I help with the university, TMU, with portfolio reviews. Every year they ask me to take a look at the students' portfolios and CVs. And one thing I hear a lot of from the students is we already had a pre-review and this master's student told me I should do it this way, or this professor told me to do it this way, or this TA told me to do it this way. vet your sources. Like, just because a master student says this, it's like, did that master student ever really land a job in the field? You know, how much experience does that master student actually have? They might have a year or two outside of their undergrad. My advice to students is to think about who's saying what, where that information is coming from. Think critically about that, because there's a lot of noise out there. And when you take instruction from face value, you're just gonna get a mush of actual good advice. So that's that's a little bit of what I think. Good luck with people applying for jobs. It's hard out there. This is Architect on the Move. I'm Jason. Cheers. Bye.